Hello everyone, this is the Tijuana River Valley Regional Campground located in the southernmost tip of San Diego, California. It's a relatively new campground with 51 primitive campsites that can fit most RV, trailers, and tents. And if you don't have any of the above, you can always rent a yurt that can sleep from 6 to 10 people. You can reserve on sdparks.org. We have a good ocean breeze coming in. The campground is just about 1.5 miles from the ocean, so you get really good ocean influence. It's really cool. Very spacious campsite. I have site number 20, which is a pull-through. So in this loop right here, they are all pull-throughs. And way in the distance in the corner there are some horse equestrian campsites. You can bring your horse to come camp with you and then take them out to the beach, ride them along to the beach. So the hill up there is the border between the US and Mexico, and just across behind the hill, over the hill, is Tijuana, Mexico. So you have your typical fire ring, picnic table. So this is a pretty new campground, about 1 year old. So actually all the sites do not have any shade at this point. They are still growing the trees, which I think will take quite a few years for them to mature and give any shade. I don't know what kind of trees they are. Doesn't look like eucalyptus, which would grow very quickly, but some other kinds of shade tree that will have to stand up to the constant blowing from the ocean. So I would say maybe 5 years, then you'll get some shade. I took a short bike ride down Monument Road to Border State Park and the Friendship Garden. This is where the US and Mexico meets. The border runs all the way down into the ocean. This whole Tijuana River Valley area is Southern California's largest wildlife estuary and refuge. Unfortunately, this is not a place where you would want to go swim in the ocean because of the contamination from the Tijuana River. Beautiful day to go biking along the MultiUse Trail at Tijuana River Valley Regional Park. The trail is just adjacent to the campground, and I think there are like 20 miles of trails to explore. Came down that bike path and stopped at this corner right here which meets up with the one of the streams from the Tijuana River. As you can see, it's probably not the cleanest, but it provides water to the wildlife here, and it flows into the ocean, which is right ahead. I believe that's the Imperial Beach, right from the border, which is way up there. Don't know if you can see, but there it is. And then pan back across, that's your beach. Pacific Ocean right there. Nice cool breeze this morning. Interesting trail with a lot of foliage coverage. Not sure where it is going to take me. I suppose more or less to the river, Tijuana River. I shall find out. Just a short drive or bicycle ride from the campground is the Bird and Butterfly Park. There were a few birds and a butterfly that were patient enough for me to take a picture of. And then another short drive from there is the Dairymart Pond, which is famous for wildlife bird watching. Unfortunately, on that day, probably not a good timing. I really didn't see too many birds flying around. I'm heading up Spooner's Mesa this morning. It's just a short walk up the hill towards the overlook up above, and we'll check out the view when I get there. So got up here to the overlook. It's a really nice view up here on a clear day. So you can see the border state park that we went to the other day. Out there straight ahead is the beach and Pacific Ocean. And just below us, that's our campground. You can see it's a pretty good sized campground. It's a little bit windy right now, not sure if you can hear me. And look, there's a hawk, I believe. Nice view of the campground and the ocean. Definitely the ocean breeze is blowing in. Really comfortable. And then right there in the middle, there's the Tijuana River Valley Estuary and Wildlife Refuge. And just in the distance over there, there's like a, I'm not sure which naval base or marine base it is, but you have all the military helicopters going in and out. You can see one, or maybe you can see it flying up above somewhere, above the clouds. And continue to pan around this whole Tijuana River Valley area. Just keeps going. And back this way. practically at the top of Spooner Mesa. You get an even better view of San Diego in front and San Diego Bay. And of course, Tijuana River Valley below. Here you get a good close-up view of the border wall right up against Tijuana. So on the far side of the border wall is Tijuana, Mexico. Spooner Mesa at the very top. Not a whole lot to see besides the border wall. And then it's just making a loop to head back down. So as you watch me hook up the trailer, here are my final thoughts on the Tijuana River Valley Regional Park Campground. Well, first thing, the name is very long. Anyway, this is an interesting campground. Pretty much brand new in San Diego. Very close to the city, so it's very convenient. Right now, there are no shade anywhere, so it doesn't really matter which campsite you picked. It's pretty much the same. Of course, if you want to be closer to the restroom, then you want to get the site right near the entrance. So for those who live in San Diego or know San Diego, your first question probably is whether it is safe to camp in this area, because the Tijuana River is known to overflow and it carries with it the sewage from Mexico. So as far as the campground is concerned, it's clean. And I believe they said they tested all the grounds and they have built the campground kind of like a moat with channels on different sides of the campground to prevent flooding and contamination. So when I was there, everything is, spick and span. The restrooms are clean, so no issue. The other question people probably will ask is, do you smell anything? During the time I was there, we have a very strong onshore flow, as you can see in the video. The wind is blowing in from the ocean, and so really I don't smell anything. Now if the wind pattern changes and become a offshore flow, then I don't know, you probably need to check with the ranger. Of more concern is during the rainy season in the winter. If you do come here during that time, probably should check on the condition of the neighboring area, because the Tijuana River is prone to overflow with sewage when it rains heavily. So it might not be flooded in the campground, but you still have to go through some low-lying areas that are prone to flooding before you can get here. I think this is a great campground for like a quick weekend getaway. It's easy to get to, just a short drive from anywhere in San Diego. That's it. All done.